I want to take this time to thank you for using your time and energy to listen to this tape and hear where we're at and what we're doing. Really, each year we do something of this nature. We kind of like to call it the State of the Ministry Address and share with you what's happened the previous year and see if we can't show you some things that we're going to be doing in the coming year. 1991 had some terrible aspects to it and had some wonderful aspects to it. Kind of like life, isn't it? That you can have a variety and know that you've been victorious and conquered situations and circumstances, and FCF certainly did that. And we're sure of what God has done and how rich and real it's been to us. When I have thought back, I didn't do as much traveling as I'd done in previous years. You know, at one time I was traveling about 500,000 miles a year, preaching 450 times a year. Well, we got it down last year. We only preached about 250 times. And in '92, we're trust that we can shut it down maybe to preaching only 150 times. And that way we can have more time for prayer, for study, for producing materials, writing books and putting things together and coordinating things better for you in this coming year. 92, we're going to make it all the way through, and we're going to do what God has called us to do. So we've got an excitement and an anticipation concerning it. We've spent a lot of time and energy and money to reach out to the world, and our focus for reaching the world has come about strongly. You know, about 8 years ago, we started changing the way that we were operating as an organization. We began to develop the leadership around us that could help minister to the other people so that we could be more effective and have more of a direct contact through an individual than just you having to contact our international office. God has given us precious men of God who are called and anointed of God to do marvelous things, and they have gifts and graces and knowledge and skill that will be a blessing to you. So let me encourage you, build your relationship with them and let God render unto you what is profitable for your life through their gifts. So much good happened. We traveled to 8 different nations, and we've got good things going on in a lot of different nations. You know, I was looking at a report that we have for our ministry here that our office puts together, and when I looked at what we had done, we'd been to 8 countries, and then, of course, in January of this year, we were in the Philippines for our conference there. What a success. We more than doubled the number of ministers in attendance. We had 740 some odd ministers in attendance, and that was, well, 340 something, so that's almost more than double what we did the year before. And how great the conference was. One of the greatest spirits about it. We now have about 15 churches in the Philippines, and that's coming along. The Bible school is up and going, and we bought land next to our compound, and we're adding on to finishing the dorms and all like that. So much good was done there. The work in India continues to be a great blessing, and we have the 100 children there in India. And oh, I'll tell you, when you see the faces of those children, we were there last year. I don't believe we'll get there this year, but Dolly Davis, who was the one who originally started the home, is going there to represent us and minister to them this coming year. We do need a few more people who would be involved in sponsoring a few children. We have sponsors for most of them, but we have just a few, about 10, that we could use sponsors on as people drop out after periods of time. And so they quit for one reason or another. We've had 2 years in a row where a cyclone has hit the area that we're at, and as a result, we've had some losses. One good thing, we got a medical doctor in California, actually a Hindu man, that's married to a Christian woman, and he has his, where he makes his vitamins, a company that makes vitamins, and he contributed the vitamins for us to give to all of our children for 1 year. And so all we had to pay for was the shipping. And then we bought over a year's supply of powdered milk. And this will be a big aid in helping our children there in the home. And it was expensive, but God made provision. So thank you for your part in sharing in that. When we've looked at all the other things that we're doing, Botswana, as you know, during the Family Church Conference last year, we raised the $10,000 to buy the land so that we'll be able to build our Bible school and our offices there. So that land is bought and paid for, and we have several $1,000s on hand to get ready to start construction. But we've held up until we could get some more plans put together and get some more costs, hopefully that are more reasonable than what has been projected so far. But that's an exciting thing to know that one of the young men that graduated when we were there last year has already gone and started a church in Swaziland. And we've got some people coming from the island, so the new year has started with our students there. In Jamaica, we had a leadership meeting there last year in the fall, and what a great time. We now have the 5 churches, the 2 Bible schools. Things are on the increase and the excitement. And while we were there, some of our leadership went out with a tent and held a meeting, and as a result, they were able to get enough people to start another church. So to us, that was exciting. We also bought a vehicle for them down there, a truck. Oh, thank God. Now, there's more needed, so keep those things in your mind. I had the privilege of going to Nigeria last year, and what a good thing happened there. We have 2 churches that run over 6,000 people in each church. And one of the churches where we held our pastors' conference, they are building a building. And they're halfway through with their building, and they've paid cash for it. They've paid $100,000. And building that, and it's going to take another $100,000 for them to finish. So we're excited. The beautiful part is they're not looking to America as their source. God is their source. What a report. Well, when I think of that, it excites me. Other things that you must know that we need to acknowledge and recognize that seeds were sown. We had $2,000 spent in the emergency fund when that cyclone hit in India. We have spent $4,000 for construction costs in the Philippines. We sent $3,400 to set up our offices in Mexico. We had $13,000 for the vehicle in Jamaica. We had $12,000 for the land and some construction things involved there in Botswana. $13,000 to purchase the land in the Philippines. We had $10,200 to purchase land for one of our churches there in the Philippines to get them started. They had just simply outgrown so fast. In a year's time, they'd grown to 750 people. We sent $1,700 care packages to our missionaries around. We paid the conference budget there in the Philippines, which was $10,000 total. We sent $8,000 last year and $2,000 in January of this year. We sent $1,000 to purchase a computer in Kenya for Jerry Savelle's ministry there. And the money for the milk was $5,400. And then shipping the vitamins and things like that. So you can see that the money's been going out to bless others and help them. Naturally, your tithes and your offerings to the international office has been of great importance to us to keep going, to do what God's called us to do. One good thing, that in a little over 3 years, our international office building will be paid for. If we don't pay it off early, which I believe that we will. But that's exciting to know that we'll be debt-free at that point when we can clear all of that out. When I've looked and examined, are we spending the money wisely? Are we doing what's good and what's right? I'm totally convinced that it is. I'm totally convinced that God has wrought great things in the lives of many people in many nations. We've got a couple of churches in the Dominican Republic that are endeavoring to become legal, so we can set up there. We're now presently legal in 12 nations. There are 2 or 3 other nations that we have churches in, but we've never bothered to become legal simply because of the complexity involved in those nations. So much has happened. The Bible school in Guatemala, I just got a call the other day from Brother Floyd Rice, and he said we got the biggest enrollment that we've ever had. We have 109 students in the Bible school. We've got 113 in the correspondence school. And so there is an excitement for what God is doing in all of these areas. When I've looked back, I thought, well, how are we progressing as individuals? And I think that we've all grown. Some of us have made mistakes. Some of us have faltered along the way. But for the most part, we've been at that point of increase. Now, with all the things that's gone on with ministries and media over the past months and years, there is an attitude that tries to prevail in the world, and it's come by the spirit of betrayal, where people have been betrayed through their fellow brethren. And that's a shame when that comes. But God is for us, and we shall be able to overcome every element that we face and know that we'll come out victorious, triumphantly, and have an excitement about the future. I want to encourage you to remember the Family Church Conference. The theme of this year is what I consider a very important one, and it's called In His Image. We trust to have to you a media kit that will help you in reaching out to your city and your area with every bit of knowledge that you need to get you started. Now, there's always more to learn. There's always further advancement, but we're talking about to initiate and to get going and to help you save money and be effective at the same time. So you can come to the Family Church Conference and pick it up, and you'll be blessed by it. And we've got good things in store. John Avanzini will be there one day during the Family Church Conference. I'll be speaking one evening at the conference. And there's a couple other people that we've talked to that we're endeavoring to be sure that we can get the mind of God and that God is working to bring them in. But our leadership will be sharing in the morning sessions too as well, plus the workshops. So we've got a great thing in store. We've got something for the children, something for the youth, something for the whole family, because it is the Family Church Conference. And people who've never been, they will get a feeling of what FCF is all about if they would come to the Family Church Conference the second week in June. It's always at the Sheraton Kensington here in Tulsa, and it'll be a blessing. So as you get your materials, you know, make the effort to come. You'll be refreshed. You'll be built up. Bring your staff. Bring some of your people. In fact, a number of our churches get a bus together or what have you and bring a lot of their people. And each year we use a different church in our fellowship to come along and bring their people to lead the music and the worship. And so we've got an excitement about what will be happening this year. So keep that in your thinking for the future, this summer. And then your area meetings, as the leadership calls those meetings, we want to encourage you. Start fellowshipping with the people in your area. And some state meetings and district meetings. But we want to encourage you to get involved, because that involvement will enrich you and enrich others. Even if you don't feel like it'll be a blessing to you, your presence there will be a blessing to someone else. So you have much to contribute in your knowledge, your fellowship, your love. And as you share that, I'm sure it will come back to you because of the laws of God. As you give, it shall be given. So you can have an expectancy if you'll just come with that attitude from the very beginning. When we looked at FCF and what it's doing, there are so many things that we feel are important. But I feel that 1992 is a very important year for us. I don't necessarily want to use the word critical, but I also know that it's so vital that we've got to focus in on it for our future. If ever there was a time to be prepared, to have a plan, to know the intimate details that God wants to bring to us, I believe this is it. In December, the Spirit of the Lord spoke and told me that I was to take 90 days off this year. Now, you know I've been trying to slow down for some time, and we've begun. Well, we haven't made it all the way. And I believe the Spirit of God was preparing me. And I thought, well, if I start taking any time off, I'm going to have to cancel some meetings. People are going to get mad. There's some of them not going to understand. But you know, God's pretty smart. He come along, and I had 3 different 30-day segments in my schedule where I had nothing booked. I didn't have to cancel a meeting. I didn't have to make anybody mad. I could be obedient to God. Isn't it good to know that God knows your schedule and that He can pre-plan and prepare you to fulfill that plan? So we've blocked it out. And I trust you'll understand there'll be some meetings that we can't make this year, that we can't do. Don't allow yourself to be offended by the fact that we're not going to be able to get around to all the different ones that we have in the past. It's not a matter of a personal thing to you. It's a personal thing to me to be obedient to God, because I've got to have more time to plan, to pray, and that's vital. I can't make the plans without prayer. I have to have the mind of God. And you know as well as I do, that takes time. And you know it never comes. You simply have to make time. So that's what I've done. God's been gracious enough to help me with it. So I've got an excitement about what I'm going to learn, what I'm going to see. And there's already changes going on in the inside of me that are good. And I am so thankful that God has worked in my behalf to bring this time about. Our spiritual involvement with one another has been so important. You know, God is a restorer. Several years ago, He restored me. A number of our people through the years have been restored. God is in the restoring business. Now, that's not all that He does. He prevents and He brings protection. And we've seen that too. And I believe by praying for one another, we're going to see more of that. That we can have more preventive medicine than we have healing medicine. So let me encourage you to begin to pray for the other ministers in FCF. Be concerned about them. Start reaching out to help them. And like I say, you'll set certain laws in motion and in action that will only enrich your life as you do it. If you ever remember the phrase in James where it says, pray for one another that ye may be healed. So that's what I want to do, is pray for someone else so that I can be healed. I'll get the benefit because I'm praying for them. I'll get healed. We want everyone healed. You know, the spiritual bonds that we build are going to last us a lifetime. One of the sayings that we have amongst leadership is simply this: if Jesus tarries, we're going to grow old together. And I'm trusting that's true for everybody that's a part of FCF, that we've built a covenant relationship and bonds that are lasting, and that spiritual part becomes a reality of each one rendering to the other and what the other needs, and how valuable that is. You know, for some people, it's being there to pray. For other people, it's giving them that counsel. Some just need that contact. But that spiritual relationship is of utmost importance. We've tried to make provisions in the natural to help you carry out your spiritual responsibilities. And remember, one of the things that we have available for you is the fact that we have a lawyer that you can call once a month into the international office and get that free advice that you need and save and be economical in what you're doing. Also, our accountant has a 1-800 number to where you can call and get information. And that's valuable to do your taxes and keep everything in order as far as your reporting and so on. All of those things contribute to your spiritual growth and your development. Keep that in your thinking. But there are other things as well as the legal side besides the natural. So we want to make as many of those available as possible. With a new media kit that comes out, this will help you in that vein. From everything from your letterheads to radio, television, magazines, anything of that nature that will be in there and will be productive for you. We've had people that are gifted in certain areas to consult with. That's in the natural and that's in the spiritual. If you have a lot of things that's happening to your couples in the church, we have people who can come and teach on marriage. All of these are available to you. Remember this, you have not because you ask not. We want to be that blessing to you. We want to be that source if it's pleasing to you and to God. One of the things that we have become involved with that we want to encourage you to participate in is the Traditional Value Coalition. And we have someone who can represent us in Washington with the government and be involved in a very direct way and teach you how that you can work with the local government officials and being more effective with changing your city and your state. So those are things that we want to encourage you. Get involved in if you have need of it. In fact, I'd encourage you to at least learn about it, to have an understanding of it, so that you wouldn't make any misstep of just going on your own. And remember the communique, that's our point of communicating with you. We do it every quarter, but then we've done the supplement every month. We want that to be what you need it to be. So if there's something in there that you'd like to see that will be productive to you, be sure and write us or call us. Let us know. We want it to minister to you in a very effective way. I've come to that point in my life that I don't want to do anything other than please God. You know, here a few days ago, I was in prayer. And I don't know if you've ever come to this place in prayer, but I came to it and it kind of shocked me. Because I said to the Lord, Lord, I really don't know what would make me happy. Only you know what would make me happy. So I want what you want me to have. I want to do what you want me to do. It was a wonderful place to be. Because always before in the past, I always thought exactly, well, I want this, this, and this. But all of a sudden in my life, I really didn't know. I knew this, that it wasn't found in things. And I knew this, it was important that it was involved with people, because God loves people. And so I should be too, loving them. I want to love you better. And the way that you can love someone even better is by spending more time with them. I need time with you. Family Church Conference is one of those ways. Area and state meetings is another way. Calling on the phone is another way. The communique is another way. I need time with you, and I'm trusting to a certain degree you need time with me. Let us find a way that we can link our hands and work better and stronger than ever before. There'll always be a bond to some degree, but let's make it as strong as we possibly can. When I have found two can walk together in agreement, but a threefold cord is not easily broken. With God, with me, and with you, we can have that threefold cord. If God be for us, who can be against us? You know, all things are possible. We're living in the greatest day. In 92, we're going to see it all the way through. And it's going to be one of the best years. It's a year of breakthrough, a year of doing, a year of triumph, a year of learning, a year of growing. Let me encourage you. Do everything you can in 92, because the best is yet to come. We don't spend a lot of time with you, but I trust this is pleasing to you, because it's my way of spending time with you. It's my moment to communicate with you. Always afterwards I think, I wish I'd have said this, I wish I'd have said that, I wish I'd shared about this. But at the time, it was a thing that was real in my heart. I've shared my heart with you. I want you to feel free to share your heart with me. Write me a letter, call on the phone, come see me. In fact, in the future, as I'm in more, I'm expecting some of y'all to come see me. And we can have some time fellowshipping and dealing with the things you need to deal with. And if you can't get to Tulsa, get to your area man, your state man. They want to fellowship you. We want to be a blessing to you. We have already been blessed. So our hearts cry, Lord, make us a blessing. You surely bless me. So thank you for being a part of my life, being involved with me in ministry, and us fulfilling this great commission that God has given us. Reach the world. We shall surely do it. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your financial support. And thank you that we're going to keep on keeping on. Till I see you face to face, God bless you.